VYDRA versus Northern Coalition. VYDRA banning out the Barghest and the Typhoon fleet issue. The Floon off the field. And Northern Coalition concerned about the Curse and the Astarte.
No!
Okay.
My favorite.
It's like people don't want to see the Curse, and I'm upset. I love that ship. I love the Arbitrator hull. I love the whole thing.
It's just
You can
a
understand it though.
very pretty painted ship. It
crushing
does a lot of
stuff
stuff.
You know what? I kind of like the Pilgrim. I like the Sarum paint job better. It's just, I mean, not better. I don't like it better. They're both beautiful. All of the ships available in EVE Online are beautiful. They've been prepared by an art department filled with skilled artists, modelers, and wonderful QA.
That he is part of.
We were gonna be cool. Quick predictions. Who do you think VYDRA versus Northern Coalition?
Well, it seems like VYDRA Relolded has been a coalition conundrum. I'm going with VYDRA.
VYDRA.
I want VYDRA to win. I want to see more crazy ass setups in the future. In the
Double
next week.
VYDRA, hoping they can get around that curse ban. Will go to CCP Fozzie and moderator in the booth for this, the final match before the break. Fight 115 of Alliance Tournament 14.
Welcome back, everyone. This is CCP Fozzie, joined by moderator, and we have an amazing match for you coming up now. There is a flagship on the field. There is an AT prize ship on the field. It is going to be a bloodbath. VYDRA Relolded has their flagship Balgorn on the field with an Aneros, Harbinger Navy issues, Brutix Navy issues, a Blackbird, Purifiers, and a Hound. And why don't you tell us a little bit about this Northern Coalition team, moderator?
So NC Dot has brought double cruise Navy Scorpions. They have brought 2 Svipals, a Scimitar, a Purifier, a Hound, a Flycatcher, a Drake, and a Fiend, the AT cruiser from last year.
Yeah, this is an amazingly powerful ship, very expensive as well. This is one of the most expensive ships in the game. The match is about to start. The team started out kind of at staggered ranges with VYDRA a little bit further back, and we're about to see them begin. So the Sveeple rushing forward for Northern Coalition. They're going to try to get tackle really quickly if they can, and already damage being applied to that Sveeple. We'll see if he can stay alive.
You can see, okay, so the Balgorn is doing something brilliant here. He's already got his officer newts on top of that Fiend. That Fiend he needs to cap out. He puts out so much damage, it has a Hexgram. He's also doing a good job of getting damage on top of that Svipal to prevent him from getting tackle on them.
Yep.
But the Balgorn's already taking damage. NC Dot realizes they need to get him off.
Yeah, this is a flagship Balgorn. Lots of really powerful newts, lots of really powerful long-range webs. NC Dot going to try to take him off the field right away. Wow. These double cruise Navy Scorpions do a lot of damage to battleships, the Purifier and Hound as well. So they will do full damage to this Balgorn, especially when he's painted. We'll see how well he can tank now that he's entering armor.
Speaking of tank, it looks like VYDRA has switched off their primary to the Navy Scorpion of NC Dot.
He's already in half shield.
He's in half shields and only now just catching reps.
Yeah, so he's got some reps primed to him now. He's got some rep drones on him now. We'll see whether that's going to be able to hold him up. He dropped to about half shields before any of that applied to him. And now it looks like he's stabilized. So they may just actually be trying to force these rep drones to move across the field by then switching to another target.
Critically, VYDRA only having 1 battleship won't have any heavy smart bombs in order to put on top of the Navy Scorpion. You can't send your Balgorn in on top of their Navy Scorpions and then smart bomb. That would be suicide in a flagship.
All right, here's something amazing. So the positioning of these two teams, VYDRA has basically kept themselves back right where they started, moved back a little bit. NC Dot has charged ahead. They kept most of the team together, except the Fiend has actually moved all the way into the backfield. They sent the Fiend around the other team. He is on his own in behind, disrupting the Northern Coalition team, or the VYDRA team, sorry. And he, there you go, is doing some damage to that Aneros. We're seeing the Hexgram there on him, and we're going to see if Northern Coalition can take that Aneros down quickly. If they do, it's going to be huge.
Critically, DHB Wildcat in his Fiend is very, very far away from his logistics. If they can break the Navy Scorpion, I like a primary switch to the Fiend, which is neuted, webbed, and he's going to be completely cap dry. If they can primary him without getting any sort of incoming reps, that would be an excellent trade for VYDRA Relolded.
All right, so this Navy Scorpion is in structure now. He is dropping quickly. He's getting some shield on him, but I think he's going to die here. The shield is a little bit too late. Meanwhile, though, Nick Noisier in his Aneros is in about half armor. There we go. So that's one of the Navy Scorpions down. That's a lot of the DPS off the field for the Northern Coalition team.
So DHB, to his credit, has recovered. He's reset himself, and he's getting closer to the logistics so he could get incoming reps if he were to be the next primary.
Yeah, Nick Noisier in the Aneros is hard tackled. He's got 2 Sveeple sitting on top of him. He's got the Navy Scorpion on top of him as well to apply the grappler, and he's dropping now. So that's no logistics on the field. We're going to have to see whether or not these battle cruisers can keep enough range. Oof, it's going to be tough. If the battlecruisers can kill the Navy Scorpion, then they can take the advantage of their faster speed and range to kind of spread out around the arena and be really hard to catch one by one.
Something that cannot be understated is the importance of these bombers. If these bombers go down, killing that Navy Scorpion is going to be difficult, if not nearly impossible, under scimitar reps. Those bombers contribute nearly 1,500 damage. Without that, killing the Navy Scorpion might not happen.
Yeah, this is a race now. Which is going to die first? This whole set of bombers. So we've got one bomber down, another one following, the third one about to follow as well. Meanwhile, the Scorpion is in armor. He's dropping quickly. Let's see if he can actually sustain now that the bombers are down. He still has 4 battlecruisers worth of damage applying to him, as well as the flagship Balgorn. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think he's going to drop down. There he goes, through structure, and we're going to see the second Scorpion Navy issue down off the field.
So the Balgorn is doing an excellent job. He's got newts on top of the scimitar. The scimitar is going to be almost completely capped right. The scimitar doesn't even have his prop on. He has no cap to do anything but be dead in the water. VYDRA can almost ignore that scimitar and then move on to the Fiend to get rid of that Hick, or they can kill the Drake and get rid of Lynx.
Yeah. This is something we've been actually seeing from quite a lot of top teams, is having the Tech 1 battlecruiser fit almost entirely for Lynx. They don't really care about the damage of it. They're just filling up with a bunch of Lynx. Yeah, this is a no-missile Drake. And that would be a really valuable ship to kill off the field. Meanwhile, though, they're losing a Navy Brutix.
Yeah, not a good trades for VYDRA. They have far fewer ships remaining on the field. This Blackbird's going to drop. Navy Brooks is going to drop. Killing a Hound in return isn't quite worth it. That scimitar is so much more valuable the less ships that VYDRA has left on the field.
Yeah, however, he is... Oh, man, he got a rep off. It looks like he got a cap booster charge and got this Purifier saved. If they can keep these ships from dropping too quickly, the small ships, then they're going to be in great shape, because these battlecruisers are dying.
And critically, the battlecruisers can't actually track the Fiend. The Fiend is keeping a orbit on with his afterburner. The Fiend being a pimped out version of the... Not the Succubus, but the Phantasm.
Phantasm, yeah.
The Phantasm. That,
the heavy interdictor version. So really, really tanky and with a long-range scram.
I like the call on VYDRA to kill this Feipel, but reps are just now applying back on top of him.
Yeah, they've got newts on this scimitar, but he's able to rep in between his cap boost charges, so they are going to get some kills, but the kills are much slower for the scimitar existing. This is really, really great piloting by the scimitar of Northern Coalition, managing to keep his team alive a lot longer by managing his cap booster charges. And the second Navy Brutix is dropping into structure now. A really strong position for Northern Coalition. They have lost their battleships, but still have a whole lot of control and tackle on the field.
It looks like they've got possibly Balgorn webs on top of that Purifier, and they need to get full tackle on top of the Feipel with Travis Muskrat if they want to actually track him.
Yeah. This Purifier is tackled and is starting to take damage now. We'll see if he is getting reps. Great job by the Scimitar, managing to continue to rep through all the nuding. It may end up being a mistake not killing the Scimitar earlier, but already now just 3 ships left for VYDRA Reloaded. One of them, of course, being this flagship Balgorn. Now, we know that VYDRA bid a huge amount of Plex to enter this tournament. These guys are willing to put their money where their mouth is, which means I expect this flagship to be a very expensive kill mail if it goes down.
Yeah, I would expect someone somewhere probably in the vicinity of 60 to 70 billion ISK. They bid over 100 billion just to get into the event, so they are definitely not small ballers, as Zarvox would say.
Yeah, these battlecruiser now, Navy Harb starting to drop through armor, another one dropping through shield there. Looks like they're having everyone shoot at what they can while they move into position for whatever target they really prefer. And really, really great showing by Northern Coalition. Of course, they got knocked into the elimination bracket in that amazingly close match with Pandemic Legion yesterday. And with this performance, assuming they're able to pull it out, which it looks like they probably are, they will be moving on to next weekend and maybe be able to get their revenge on PL.
Quite possibly. So I would say the Fiend really here, maybe it didn't outright win them the match, but it was definitely a crucial aspect. Tell us a bit more about why the Fiend can do that.
Yeah, so the Fiend is a very, very powerful ship. It's one of the ships that was given as a prize to the top 4 teams from last Alliance tournament. It's a heavy interdictor, which means it's very tanky, and it has the ability to fit a very long-range scrambling module in its high slots for tackle. And as a Sancha ship, it has a strong bonus to afterburner speed, so it's able to move around the field very effectively, even while scrambled, and deal a lot of damage with lasers. Really, really versatile ship, and a ship that I wouldn't say it's necessary necessary to this team, but it just sort of adds a lot of flexibility to the team. It can react to a lot of things very well, and that's a really valuable thing to have this late in the tournament where you don't know when you're going to be coming up against.
Additionally, it also has roughly the signature of what you would consider to be an afterburning Armor Tech 3 cruiser, but that much faster. So it's very difficult for things like the Navy battle cruisers that are going to be fielding long-range weapons to actually be able to track on top of it unless it's very heavily webbed by multiple ships, or something like a Vindicator or a Vigilant that has a bonus to web strength.
Yeah, if they'd killed the rest of the team, then they would have eventually been able to kill the Fiend. But it's not a great primary early on in the match, which is, I think, why VYDRA was smart in not shooting it right away. But they just would have gotten it at the end if they'd been able to take the win. At the moment, just the flagship left for VYDRA Reloaded. Northern Coalition has 1 minute and 11 seconds to kill that flagship and get themselves a really shiny kill mill. But either way, VYDRA is going to be out of this tournament.
So with the Navy Harbinger, the Balgorn isn't going to have links, but he's going to have either a Dead Space or Officer Repper, presumably in those low slot. Most teams at this level do choose to go with something of that option. Let's see if he can survive the next 50 seconds or so.
I think it's going to be a big challenge for him. He is already in about 2/3 armor and dropping down. A lot of the DPS left on this team is coming from the two ships, the Fiend and the Purifier. That Drake doesn't have any damage. The Sveeple and the Flycatcher are more leaning towards shooting at small ships. So really, he's got two ships shooting at him. And actually, you know what? I think he is just going to survive. He is holding on really well.
Yeah, the Sveeple being one of the more balanced Tech 3 destroyers in the game, so not sure if he's going to be able to break him in time.
We've got some changes to the Sveeple coming up very soon in our November expansion. I'm really looking forward to that. Thanks to our Tech 3 destroyer focus group with the players we've been getting advice from and getting feedback from. This match is going to end with the Balgorn alive, but Northern Coalition, although they're denied the one shiny kill, are going to get to move forward, which is what they really care about. And they will be back here next weekend, eliminating VYDRA Reloaded from the tournament.
Looks like VYDRA did not prevail, and with that, Northern Coalition will live to fight another day.
And we'll send you back to the guys in the analysis desk.
Na 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 na.
VYDRA Reloaded gets their knee slapped by Northern Coalition, sending them out of the tournament. NC Dot will move up into the top 8, and we only have one more elimination bracket match to see today. We will join Pasty Syndicate and Valoria Accords for the final elimination bracket match of the day after the break, that commencing at 17:40 Eve time. Really good showing by VYDRA, just not able to go past Northern Coalition. Northern Coalition, some amazing Logi piloting there. So just really, really good calling on their targets as well. Quickly, Garayan, what did you see happen?
It looked really hairy right there at the beginning. It was like, oh my goodness, are we going to see another Alliance Tournament's prize ship bite the dust? And but Northern Coalition able to pull it out with some really top-notch piloting, and were able to keep themselves up long enough to make what was really hairy there with the two Navy Scorpions being down so early in the match, come back with what they still had left, able to power through what was remaining of the VYDRA Reloaded side.
Shows you how even without your battleship core, you can still come back from a match. You can still have a major impact, and that Alliance tournament ship really showing itself as a force on the field. The rules only allowing a single AT ship to be fielded by a team at one, or for one fight. That's an interesting call to go for the Fiend, which I think is selling Would we have a discussion about it? It's like,
too much.
I don't think
more
it's
than
selling
I'd
at all.
ever
I
seen.
think
It's one of
no
the
one is
most
selling
popular.
them, but I
Yeah,
think it's
exactly.
like 200 billion, 150 billion. Is it-
Insanely expensive.
Yeah, lots.
And it's worth noting that DHB in the Fiend there got 2 times he was scrammed and webbed and recovered instantly. As soon as that tackle got taken off, just instantly back up to top speed, turns on the bonus afterburner, and he's back up to something close to 2 kilometers a second. Just really disciplined from NC. Even though their logistics pilot was really quickly capped out by the Balgon, they were still able to destroy the opposing sides of Neros and 2 bombers or
3 bombers.
3 bombers really quickly. So for me, that's the big point. They're 1,500 DPS down. Even though the NC have lost their cores, they still have Logi. They still have the Fiend. A huge amount of damage out of the Fiend. So once those 3 bombers went down and the scimitar of VYDRA, it was just a bit of a mop-up.
We can see that on the infographic for the match. There, the damage coming across. And again, these numbers significantly higher than we've seen in other matches. 186,000 coming from VYDRA Relolded,
yeah.
213,000 coming out of Northern Coalition, and all of that, not all of it, but a significant chunk of it coming not from their battleships, but from their support wing, from the ships remaining on the field, those Svepels, which Fozzie mentioned are going to get buffed. And of course, the Fiend having a massive impact. VYDRA dealing a lot of damage, but not being able to break through Northern Coalition support wing.
Look at that damage from the Fiend. 44,000? Is that what I'm seeing? The Fiend did 44,000. I know it's insane damage, but it's insane damage combined with the tracking of medium lasers. So it's got battleship level damage with far better application. It's able to use the AB to reduce incoming damage as well as increase its own if it's unable to track. Crazy. I mean, I knew it was doing damage.
The
but
only
wow.
shame, it being unable to pop the Balgorn of VYDRA Relolded before the match ended. It would have been nice to see that ship go down.
Well, the thing that's also important to note about that damage total is that at the beginning of the match, the Fiend was neuted out, so...
That's another really good point, actually. He was capped out immediately, and you could tell that he was capped out because his speed within about 5 or 10 seconds went down to about 300, although there was no scrams and webs on him at all at that point. The scrams and webs only came on far later. So yeah, a lot of his damage, being a laser boat, once he's capped out, he can't actually apply any damage. So that's really indicative of why the Fiend is such a sought-after ship.
Very, very much a powerhouse in this format, in this tournament, and it is entirely possible that we will see additional Fiends take the field. PL certainly has some in their pocket
We will definitely
as of
see
last
them.
year, and we will see PL going up against WeForm Volta later on this evening rather, at 6 o'clock Eve time, starting with the first of their best of 3 match. Of course, right after the first match for that series, we'll have the first match for Afterlife versus the Tuskers Co. Again, teams that have access to Alliance tournament ships, they will be able to bring them into the field. We'll see what happens.